Welcome back, everybody. This week, we are going to be talking about, or actually, this episode, not to becoming too dependent on one source of prospecting, doing anything you do for your business. And what brought that about, Ed?
I lost my voice for about a week, and I am so dependent on talking to my clients versus texting. I mean, don't get me wrong, text, and I send emails,
Mhm.
but to me, the most important thing is actually to communicate with them so I can hear the tones and inflections in their voice. And
Right.
I can listen to them, but they couldn't. Every time I talk to somebody, they're like, "You sound so sick. Let me talk to your assistant or somebody else." Which
Right.
luckily I have set up other people who could step in and talk about certain things, but nobody, or you think they don't know, you feel that nobody can do it like you can do it, which on
Right.
certain situations I am better
True.
at certain things.
Right.
So, and that was the biggest thing for me, is learning that I lost my voice for over a week, and it's still not 100%, but it really messed with my business. And then
Right.
on Tuesday this week, usually I go to Chat GPT and throw some stuff in there for our show. So it's 100%, you have the whole backup. I do it for my radio show. I do it for everything now. And I
Mhm.
realized how dependent I am on that when it was down.
Right. Which, ironically, you didn't mean to bring this up, but that's a topic in Traffic Secrets, right? Was when people only had all of their information on one platform, and then that platform shut them down or disabled their account and they lost
But
everything.
you're talking about YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook, those kind of
Right.
things. Yes, I get that. Chat GPT is not shut down forever. It was just shut down for that day because it crashed.
Right.
But my voice, I'm just saying, is you need to have multiple ways of doing things, right?
Exactly. And not relying on just one source for pretty much anything. It's just one of those things. What if you lost, your MailChimp account? Just somebody locked you out. I have a buddy who works for a law's office, an attorney's office, law office, and they got held ransomware. And for a week, they realized they don't know how to reach out to anybody. They couldn't get into their calendars. They realized they need multiple ways to figure out how to keep track of their business, right? And so I think that kind of falls in line with what you're talking about. Chat GPT went away. We didn't know how to prepare for the show today. You lost your voice. That's your moneymaker, because you got a face for
Today. Not when I was younger.
yeah. But you lose
I
your
was in
voice.
San Diego when I was in the Navy. That
Yeah.
wasn't my moneymaker.
How many, you've got your radio show, you've got this, you've got helping the brave. I mean, you've got so many different things that when you don't have a voice, what do? And then like,
Cancel.
yeah.
So 1 week we had to replay the radio show, a different
Right.
one. We didn't do all the different podcasts. It just didn't work. Or like helping the brave, I was there, but I was very limited on what I said.
Right.
And to be honest with you, when we're talking like this, I love my headphones because I
Mhm.
can hear how we come across so much. I know exactly how we sound, how the voice is, everything else. When I had you on speaker, I think I did it Tuesday and then I started just a few minutes ago. I'm like going, I
Mhm.
hate that. I can't, I want to hear everything. And that's, again, getting too dependent on one thing. But the difference is with headphones, I know exactly how I sound and I
Mhm.
know how you sound because it's right here in my ear.
Right.
Right, because we always sound differently than how we hear ourselves because the sound's going away from our ears, not into our ears. You can talk about this later, Mr. who knows everything about ears and everything else.
Right.
But right now it's going right in my ears how I actually sound. That's why a lot of people go, I hate the way I sound. Right.
Right.
I
We're
don't
not
say that.
used to it. That was probably the most daunting thing was first recording videos and listening to yourself and then seeing yourself. It's kind of, you know, a lot of people when they see in the mirror, they start looking for flaws. And so when they see themselves on video, it's the same thing. I met Dennis Yu one time and
Mhm.
he was talking about what he does for everything is when he looks in the camera lens, he's just hoping to help one person. And he has that person in mind whenever he records a video. And so he actually won't do it where he can see himself when he's doing the video, but he turns it around like this. So all he sees is the camera here, right? And that's what he talks to versus doing it where you can see yourself while you're doing it because people get distracted. I get distracted doing it because when I'm doing the shorts of the reels, I'll look at, okay, how much time do I have left? Oh, I'm at 53 seconds. I got to wrap it up. And that's what he doesn't do. He doesn't worry about time. He just looks at the lens and tries to talk to a single person. So,
But also that other lens is so much better than the front lens.
oh yes.
Yes, you got more.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you actually probably haven't even turned on the 48 megapixel one either because you have to go inside to do that.
Well, that, and I'm going to have to get a newer phone because I do have a 48,000 pictures and I may take a lot of pictures and videos. Let's see where I was at. 46,397 videos and pictures or on my camera. So
Right.
I will be
And
upgrading my camera soon.
And that's why a lot of people ask me, why do you do what you do? All the different videos, all the different things. It's because I enjoy it. My wife asked me a long time ago, why do you do the radio show? Why do you do the other podcast? One, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy finding out different things. It's the same thing with clients. I want to find out why they want to buy a home, what's their plans, why they're doing that. And that's the same thing we do here.
Right.
And again, I'm helping one person, a family at a time. And that's the
Mhm.
same thing, here is we hope to help, a lot of people, but really focus on just helping one or two people is all I care. Cause a lot of people are like, you want millions of views on your, nah, not necessarily.
Right.
That'd be great because I've had that before, but it's not the most important thing to me. The most important thing is helping people.
Right. And that's just it. The more that you can reach, if you reach a person, you make a difference, then it's all well worth it. Right. And one of the videos I ran to Ryan Magin at the airport 2 weeks ago.
Name dropper.
I tell you. But that's what we're talking about. Like, he helps people create $1 million or million view videos. And because that is something that does help some people. But what happens? You create one video, you have to go create more. You have to have follow up. You have to have content. You have to keep doing more. You can't just create a viral video and then you're set for life. It's what do you provide to people who discover you from a viral video, but what content do you do and how do you help them after the fact?
Right. And, because there's a lot of people that close to me, a couple of them that are dancing all over TikTok and that do what I do and other things. And then finally they're stopping it, or they put out statements that are so generalized to get so many people come through. Well, I don't do that. Here's the information, cut it up, put it out there and go from there. And again, it's what you want. I'm not saying he's wrong or I'm right. He's wrong. I'm just, or she or whatever. It's whatever you want and how you put that content out there. Because sometimes to get the numbers you need on TikTok, you need to get all the young people to like it. Well, sorry. Doesn't always work that way for me.
Yeah. You're not going to be dancing. No routines coming up. No pageants.
Nope.
But you're right. It's what are you searching for and what helps your business? Like we've talked about before, likes don't pay your bar tab. Likes are good to have. Like we all get the dopamine hit from getting likes and views and everything else. But does it translate to helping your business? Does it help you get closer to that ideal client? Does it help you close deals? Right. That's where it really comes back to what we've been talking about with prospecting, creating your ideal avatar, creating your top list of who do you want to work with. But again, you have to be willing to pivot. And that's what I think the main message with this is. You lost your voice. What did you do? Okay, well, luckily you had replays. You can do other things, but people have to have more than one strategy because if for some reason that strategy goes away, you can't be dead in the water. Right.
Or just, it messes with your paycheck.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Because, it just happens. You have to be careful with what you do. So focus on and figuring out other ways how to do things so that you just, like you said, you're not stuck with one thing. Losing your voice is different. That's unusual. Right.
Right.
But if it was long-term, then you'd have to change how you do business, period. Right.
Yeah. Well, we were talking 2 weeks ago, I think, about how text messaging used to be really big. I'd get text messages nonstop from people, but a lot of people quit using texting because they didn't set it up the right way. They didn't get the double opt-in, and there are fines and fees associated with it. Well, if your entire business model was based on text messaging, or let's just say it's about DMing people, well, those strategies work for a period of time, but then they start to fall apart. I don't really get that many cold robotic DMs anymore, but shoot, 6 months ago, they were everywhere nonstop.
I'm a podcast person and I can help you. I get so many, still get so many of that through Facebook. Now they want to be your friend.
Yes. I like when you get the call. I got an email yesterday. Love your content. Let us know how we can help you. And then they answer it with, what do you do and where do you live again?
Right.
You kind of said two different things there. And that's the same thing when somebody adds, on, hey, I noticed we have mutual friends. I love what you do. Okay. And then later on, so where do you live? What do you do?
Like, how can I help you? Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, I have this whole thing I can do for you, blah, blah, blah. What I hate is I'm not going to reply back, right? Unless I need your help. Oh, I just want to make sure you saw this. I want to put this back to your top of your whatever.
Oh yes.
So you really want me to reach out to you and tell you to leave me alone is what you're saying.
Yeah. Unsubscribe.
Unfriend or
Yeah.
whatever, or block.
There were so many in my email in the junk, and that's why I like, at least, Gmail is getting better at it, but let me see if I can find like one.
Yeah, but but the problem with Gmail is I have for our mortgage company, we get thrown into spam all the time, even though we're working with that client. Right. I've had them work going, I haven't seen an email from you. Check your spam. So I always tell people, I sent you an email. If you don't see it, check your spam.
Yeah, I love it. Here we go. Apologies for coming in here cold, but I wanted to reach out with an opportunity you may be interested in. We came across your profile and our whole team loved it, and we want to chat with you about working with you. And here's how you can buy 10,000 plus members. It's like, why would you buy fake followers? I mean, I get it, but
because a lot of people do.
Yes.
And it makes you feel better.
Yes. What I like is when they send it from different email addresses too, and it ends up with the same URL. Or, of course, my favorite, when it comes in from a Hotmail. Then I know, top of the line.
But yeah, again, they're trying to get you, because everybody wants to have so many followers, so many this. And that's what I liked about when my book came out on Amazon. I know who all the people who bought my book. Right. I can reach out to them. I can touch base with them. I can send them, part of my list, put them on other stuff. And that's what's important about that whole thing and that whole model about when your book comes out as sold through Amazon is what you have access to, where if you are through a major publisher, you don't.
Right. On we've had some friends who got into it, and that's the big thing is they have a book, because everybody's told, oh, have a book. But some people, like, they never got anything from the book. They never got a list. They got the title of author, but that was about it.
Oh. So, well, they're saying it's a new business card.
Right.
It's a lot of money for a business card, unless you're somebody like Rob who can throw out so many books by just cut and pasting certain things. I'm not knocking, but his model, how he does his books, is different than how other people might do their books.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so, but back to what we're talking about, a book is a way to get attention, right? But you can't.
We're all over, man.
I know. Well, because we're talking about, you can't have just one strategy. So the book is another strategy, right? So, for example, you lost your voice, but people can still go to Amazon and read your book. So I think while it's a little bit of an ADD deviation, it still has some merit to what we're talking about today. And that is, you have to have more than one strategy. You have to prepare for, what if a platform goes away? What if there was talk for 3 or 4 years ago about, having fines put on for email. Even if somebody opted in, if they complained about you, where are they going to fine you? And I think in Europe, they've got very strict email standards, and you can be fined if you can't prove that somebody came to your website and asked to be emailed. There was, what was it, like 5-10 years ago, there was a look at charging companies to send emails out. And if you follow the, I just saw an email from them. Let me see if I can find it. At one point, there was a talk of, if you wanted your website to be well published beyond Google and that, you were going to have to pay your local internet providers to throttle access to your website, or they were going to squeeze it down. So things are constantly changing. So you have to stay aware of what's coming, what's potentially coming. And then again, how can you pivot? Don't stick to just one strategy, which is what we're talking about today.
Well, it's like I just found out that, so I had to do some work on my website, which was just get rid of some stuff because I have other people do it, but I'm like, hey, I need to go in there and get rid of this. Right. And I checked, I'm like, I average 250 people a day, which doesn't sound like a lot. I had almost 10,000 people last month go to my website, but for a personal website for a lone guy out in Modesto, California, that's huge.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it's like, okay, what am I getting out of all those people coming to my website? What have I gotten? Right. That's really the question. Did they go from there then to buy my book, or, how did they do it? Cause I send a lot of people, you want to send people to your website, then to other places. You don't want to send, and I send a lot of people to my website because I have my YouTube stuff on there. I have other stuff on there just in case YouTube goes away.
Exactly. Well, that's, people, it's crazy. Some people will not think that they need to save their own videos for themselves, right? They'll just, I'll just put it all on the platform. And I've talked to too many people that platform went away and they had nothing to show afterwards. So then they have to recreate all their content from scratch. And so it's like, no, you need own your data, own who your customers are, like your client list, things like that. Utilize the free resources that are out there. But the key word with there is free means that they can go away and you don't own it. Right.
But like you said, you need to create the video, have access to it, put in a separate thing.
Yes.
That's why I love StreamYard that we use, because the video stays there for a long time,
Right.
unless you got one of those small plans. I have one of those to save up to, ridiculous amount of videos in there. So I can go back 2 years. They're all still sitting there, but there's other ones edited that's on our Dropbox. They're just sitting there.
Right.
So
because you own it. It doesn't go away if the platform goes away. And,
correct. And that's like when we do lives and we need to cut them up and put them in other places. And that's what we're going to do. But there's just so much. Let's put it this way. There's so much you can do in only so much time. You need to get VAs. And that's what, if I can say nothing other than that, go get a VA to help you. It's time to start doing that if you haven't for your videos. And I'm even talking to you and me. We need to get a couple more VAs. We need to get some people to do this stuff so that we can focus on what we do best, which is talk to people.
Right.
And talk. And talk.
And talk. When you have a voice.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit better.
It is. No, you're actually sounding tremendously better than you did last week.
Yeah, even the radio was bad, and I tried and I did my best on there. Yeah, because I read a live commercial each week for a pool company, and I had to find it. I was like, man, that was bad. Yeah. They should have shut me down.
Yeah. Shut them down.
You can't record this week either. But it's amazing how much, don't get stuck with one thing. And so I only focus on that, right? Because twice now in a couple of weeks, I've had issues because I focus, again, bring up my voice. I can't get rid of that. I use it all the time, but I'd go to the doctor or talk to the doctors and everything constantly. You want a note for work? Oh yeah. I want a note for work for my voice. I can't talk so I can. And my wife's like, everybody just wants a note, Ed, so they don't have to work. Right. Well, and my whole thing is I'm trying to figure out ways to get back to work so I can talk. But again,
the sign language radio show, you're not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah. You're such a funny guy.
I am. I crack myself up. That's the most important part, right?
Yeah. The Last of Us, that's a good series. Fun guys.
Well, and using examples, because I'm going to be heading out to California this week. And so it's one of those things of how do you adjust, right?
You mean you are in California this week? Nice try.
Yeah. Well,
I know you're trying to I'm not going to be there already. Yeah. We know you're there.
Well, we're just talking about pivoting, right? So when you're on the road, what do? You have to figure out, okay, well, what if I can't do that time? What if, what are the other options? That's the big thing is what can you do differently? Right. Is it, people get stuck in their ways and they end up just cornering themselves in far, far too many things of that's the way we've always done it until it's detrimental. And, the one that everybody can always remember is Blockbuster Video, right? I mean, great business model, everything else. Well, but that's the way we've always done it. Kodak Film, the whole crazy story of Kodak actually had a digital camera and they said, nope, people love to go get theirs developed and look at where they are.
Still there doing film.
Yeah.
There's still one Blockbuster though. You can't take that away from them.
That's true. Hey, there's an entire documentary about it, right? And you become famous for that one.
Yeah. And they just did it. They just posted their Super Bowl commercial when the Super Bowl was on for from back in the 80s or whatever. Right. We'll still be here. It's a cockroach crawling back into the store. So the most important thing that we want to get across to you today is the fact that don't get stuck with you only using one thing because it could be gone. And whatever that is, you take that for look at what you're doing. How many channels are you on? Are you saving your videos? Are you saving certain things? Are you focused on one thing to where you have to use it? And if you can't use it, it just messes with you. Just be careful.
Well, I came from an industry before where everything was face-to-face relationships. Then what happened? We got shut down. And Zoom, we awkwardly made it through Zoom, but we had to be ready to go back out and get in front of people and build those relationships again. When conferences and trade shows went away, that's where a lot of people made a lot of their business was attending a trade show, taking people to dinners, to golf tournaments, all those things. That's the worst case, right? If we were all locked in our houses again, can you pivot? Can you adjust? Thankfully, we have StreamYard, we have Zoom, but that will never replace relationships, like you said, where this is a one-to-many, where you and I get to talk, many people can watch it. But the real value is in one-to-one, developing those relationships, reaching people. This is a great way for exposure, but exposure doesn't create relationships. It creates awareness, right? And that's where you have to figure out is, what if this one means goes away? How do I get back and build relationships with those people? What are the pivots that I can do?
Right. I mean, because with us, it's still, we don't see every one of our clients,
Right.
but we can still, now we have multiple ways of talking to them.
Mhm.
Right. And that's what's important, because you could do a Zoom video. We could do this. You can do this to meet with them. Or if they don't want to come in, I have only had in the last, since 2000, end of 2019, 2020,
Yeah.
probably 10 clients come into my office since then
Wow.
to today.
Well, there was one
Where
guy.
before, the push in our industry was, you got to bring them in. You put a sign up front saying, "Hey, so-and-so, happy to have you come to our place." Take
Right.
this whole experience all the way through, blah, blah, taking out an hour of their time. I'm like, most people don't want to waste an hour of their time or an hour and a half. If I can get it, if I can speak to the same people with the same tone, everything, and get it done in 20 minutes, that means I can do 3 an hour versus 3 in 3 hours.
Oh, hey, think about how many things were improved. I know we're getting a little bit off subject again, but
Well,
things
we were
that
supposed to be
improved.
closing out, but now you
Yeah.
went further,
Yeah.
because I had
What?
finished our call to action, and now you kept
Oh,
going.
okay. All right. We can end
Keep
it.
going, finish it up, and then you finish your
I
call
was
to
just going
action.
to say how many things have modified and improved because people had to pivot, right? It used to suck to go to a doctor's office and have to fill out 5 pages of forms. Now they email you ahead of time and say, "Hey, will you fill this out and make my experience as a customer better than getting on in there, having to fill out ridiculous amounts of paperwork that takes
I get a
15."
text.
Yeah.
I get a text.
You get text now?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
texted to me.
Oh, see, there you go. But it's, you can fill out the forms ahead of time. So
Even the
what can
dentist
you do to
texted
make
to me.
life easier for your prospects, right?
Right.
Is there things that you can get out of the way that's not, to your point, if they have to come to your office, how much can be done before they get there? So you're respectful of their time. You can be on time. You can set the expectations of when they're coming in. And those are what SOPs were developed that you can now utilize to make a better experience for the customer.
And for people not in the government, that is standard operating procedures, just in
That's
case you don't know what
true.
an
Hey,
SOP is.
I did not learn that in government. I learned that actually through marketing. But yes.
But that's an old military thing, by the way. So
Is it?
SOPs. Yeah,
There
it's
you
from the
go.
military. And then military people brought into civilian world. And that's why I'm saying government. But back, one last thing, and then we need to go.
Yes.
Prime example, my son and daughter-in-law are buying a house in Washington State. They're planning the whole thing going through. I'm helping them getting connected with different people.
Mhm.
And everybody says how the young, everybody younger loves to use the automated stuff and get all this stuff. Well, they've been tracked so much, they
Mhm.
don't trust. My daughter-in-law is freaking out because my son told her they're going to need your login for your bank, all this information to do it. Yeah, there's a couple ways we can do it like that, right? You can do
Right.
it that way where you give everything and then you have to change all your passwords afterwards, or just to be protected, or you can do the old school with the documents. I have more younger generation wants to do documents than doing the easy way through their actual app
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything else that we can do.
Yeah. Is that through Plaid or whatever the
It's everyone has their own system internally
right.
to do it. It's because
Mhm.
we can do it all we can do a total dockless transaction.
Mhm.
The biggest problem is, do I just have lights go out in here?
No.
Oh, that
And
was this light right here. This one finally died.
you don't
I
smell
was like,
toast,
it's
do
not a
you?
light going down. So that's why I'm shadowing my face.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you log in there, you type in, you log in, it grabs the information and it puts it through the system and the whole 9 yards. But I have more people say no because they don't want to change their password later, or they
Right.
they think it's too intrusive. So again, nothing's perfect for everybody. People
Right.
want certain things. I have more people who are going to want to come in the office now because of that.
Mhm.
Then they're like, here, I'll just give you the paperwork, or I have them uploaded through my secure server, which is easy, but they do not want to give up their passwords and other stuff.
Right. It's that fear of, is this a scam? Is this a Nigerian prince who's going to send me money? But you're right. I went through one. It asked me, I think it was Plaid or something like that, when I was getting approved for something, and I was really nervous about. I'm like, is this legit? Because I was so used to just going and printing everything off and putting it in Dropbox and everything else. So yeah.
Well, it's just easier. A lot of people in my industry are like, here's a shared Dropbox. Just keep putting
Mhm.
your documents in there, which that works too. But as electronic we can get, I think a
Yep.
lot of people like old school because they feel more protected.
Yes.
Might not be,
100%.
but that's just how they feel. And so that's what we're dealing with also. So as connected as we are, we also want to be face to face more than anything else.
And that's where that relationship of trust comes in. If they don't trust you, you have to be able to tell them, we use this. I have, number one, I can pivot. If you don't want to use this, then we can go old school. We can print documents and everything. But this is what I use. This is why I use it. And it's the trust you built with them that will give them the faith to do it.
Old school.
Yep.
So I heard that. That really hurt. All right. That's all I have today for the third time.
Yep. Well, I think I'll let us in then.
All right. Why don't you take us out?
All right. Thanks, everybody. Follow us here on every Tuesday and Thursday on Aces53. And as you know, from time to time, we have a special guest, which we call a joker. And that is somebody who's going to bring a unique skill or knowledge to us that's going to help us expand and learn that much more. So with that being said, y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all.
You too. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.